Hi friends, welcome to Vijay Tech 360. In this video, we are going to see about the types of cloud model, and there are cloud models like a public, private, and hybrid. So in this video, we are going to see the public cloud is owned by the public service providers like AWS, Azure, or Google, and it provides the resource and service to multiple organizations and multiple users. It is a multi-tenant application where the resources are used by sharing model. So who want to connect to the cloud service provider, they can connect via a secure network connection, typically over the internet. So like how you are going to connect AWS console or how you are going to connect Azure console. Like in AWS, you are going to use like console.aws.amazon.com, and in Azure, you are going to use console.azure.com. So this is how you are going to connect your cloud service provider, and you are going to get a resource from them and you are able to utilize them. That's what the public cloud means. It is a like you are going to use this public deployment model to various organization and multiple users, and the resource among these are going to be shared with multiple people. That's what the public cloud means, and it is the cheapest cloud deployment model among the three. And the only concern that in public cloud is like security, that you may not have a full grip on IT infrastructure, but still you can be secured by certain audit methods and like that will go on for every cloud service provider. And let's see about the characteristics of the public cloud. So the ownership will be given for the organizations or end users. Like for your resource, you are going to take the ownership, but whereas the complete ownership will be in cloud service provider only, because you are going to use their resource and you are going to pay for them. That's what the thing is. Like availability, it is the most common cloud type deployment model. So it is highly available compared to any other cloud service cloud service model. And the connectivity, users and organizations are typically connected to public cloud over the internet or by using the browser. That's what we had discussed, like how you are connecting to AWS or Azure just by using the consoles or CLIs. Like this, you are going to use certain protocols and you are going to connect with them. And skills that required for the public cloud, like you need not to be much technical person, but if you have a minimum knowledge of how to set up and how to use the resource, that is enough for the public cloud. And you can see with public cloud there is hardware to manage or keep up to date. These are managed by the cloud service provider. You need not to bother of anything, because they are going to manage and you are going to use them as a resource. That's what it will happen in public cloud. And the use case scenarios are like you are going to deploy your web application on a hardware where that servers or storage or networking and resource that are owned by a cloud service provider, like any of the cloud service provider like AWS, Azure, IBM or GCP. They are going to provide you the resource, and you are going to simply deploy your application in the that infrastructure. So using public cloud in these scenarios allows cloud users to get their websites or blogs quickly access, and the focus on maintaining the site without having worry about the purchasing and maintaining of the hardware. So you here in this deployment model, you are not going to bother about the hardware. You are only focusing on about your application. See what are the advantages and disadvantages of the public cloud. The first one will be there is no capital expenditure, that you need not to spend any money on advance, and it is agility. So whenever you want, you can deploy your resource immediately. And it is also a consumption based model, like we had discussed earlier. So you are going to pay for what you had used only, and the maintenance is very less. Like you are not responsible for the maintenance. The cloud service provider is responsible for the maintenance or purchasing an hardware or maintaining the hardware. He will take care, or that organization will take care. And as we discussed earlier, the skills, you may not be a technical person, but if you know how to use the public cloud, like how to provision a resource, how to do deploy, all this is like a basic knowledge. You need not to be technically very sound. And when it comes to disadvantages, as we know that the security concern, because the hardware is maintained by some other cloud service provider, it's a third party, so you may not have a full trust on them. And the second will be like a compliance, where there are certain government policies that you should not allow your data from one country to other country, or there are certain industry standards where they maintain according to their level, and there are some legal issues where you should not enter this type of sites to certain countries. Like this, there are certain restrictions. So in public deployment you have this type of problems, and you can't put a legacy applications in the public cloud, because that is the major disadvantages. So as second one is the ownership. The ownership will be with always cloud service provider. You have an ownership about your resource, but it is not completely with you. It is always the cloud service provider. So these are the various advantages and disadvantages of the public cloud.